All right, I wanted to do a video on all of how this new Washington State rent stabilization bill, aka rent control bill, is going to affect things, because I think it's going to be a reckoning for property owners, housing providers, and buyers who are looking at deals, right? Because I'm doing both. I'm helping sellers, I'm helping buyers. So in an ease of an example here, we're going to look at rent increases being 7% plus the CPI, which is, we'll say 1%. So you get to increase your rents by 8%. Okay, and we're going to say 1% CPI for all the years. You have a landlord who doesn't have any debt, has had the property forever. They love Rebecca in Unit A because she pays her rent on time, and Rebecca's been at $1,000 a month for 5 years, right? But the market for that unit should be $1,550. Okay, well, as of now, effective immediately, you are limited to your 8% increase year one, getting you to $1,080 on that rental. Okay, we're still far behind. Year two, you can do another 8, we'll assume 8% again, that's $86 more dollars, that gets you to $1,166. And you can see, year three, $93, gets you to $1,259. 3 years later, you are still well short of the $1,550 market it was 3 years ago. Maybe in year three, market rent's $1,650 or $1,700. Do you see or understand the conundrum now that all these mom and pop landlords have created for themselves by keeping their rent super low? They have now missed the boat on that. And when you look at where your utilities or expenses are going to be going, right, they continue to go up. This is a live example of a 3-unit property that Rebecca and I own with another partner in Tacoma. Our property taxes from 2020 to 2024 went up 33% from $10,000 to $14,000 and change. Our insurance in the last couple of years went from $3,023 to $5,106, 69%. Then we got utilities gone up, maintenance repairs gone up, everything, landscaping, you name it. So how is a landlord, housing provider, going to ever catch up with an 8% max rent bump to get to market rents when all of this other stuff is happening on the sideline as well? This is going to be extremely challenging for a buyer to want to buy this property at $1,000 rents when they thought they could maybe get to $1,550. Well, when we're going to project out what the best we can do by 3 years is only $1,259, I guarantee that seller, again, is going to have to reconcile with the market and understand, oh, I can't get $800,000 for that duplex anymore because the buyer can't get $1,550. All the buyer can do is get to $1,080 by next year. That's the problem. That is the conundrum. So what are some solutions? Let's get into that. All right, I erased all those numbers and stuff. Disclaimer, I cannot give legal advice, right? Just have to put that out there. So what are some solutions for housing providers or investors, right? We can, one, serve rent increase notices at the max legal amount and timelines, like I talked about, 7% plus CPI or 10%, the lower of the two is what you can do. And that's only on an every year now basis, right? So you can't do it every 6 months or anything like that. Second is to serve the tenant notice to substantially rehab the unit, 120 days. What does that mean? Good question, right? I would believe that substantially rehabbing the unit means, probably new flooring, new cabinets, maybe redoing bathrooms and kitchens, enough that someone occupying that property would be too much in the way, too much of a hassle. So you could serve notice on that. And I actually helped a client just acquire a fourplex, and they did that for all units, all tenants. It was, not a very good, happy situation for tenants who've been there a long time, but that's the reality. When an investor comes in and wants to rehab and get market rents, that's what they're going to do. The other one is that you could serve notice for you or your family, a family member that intends to occupy the unit. That one I believe is 90 days only, not 120. Serving notice saying, hey, Rebecca, I'm sorry, you have to leave. My cousin is moving from Oklahoma and they need a place to live and I'm putting them in there. Something like that. I don't know how immediate family needs to be, but you can serve notice for that as well. And so this isn't evictions, right? We're not evicting people for bad behavior or anything. This is just serving notice that we are ending your tenancy with us because of one of these reasons. Okay. Now, I just also want to remind you that for tenancies 30 days or more in the state of Washington, that constitutes long-term fixed lease terms or month-to-month. STRs, Airbnbs are exempt from all this other stuff that we're dealing with in Washington. So hope that's helpful. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm trying to keep track of everything for you and my clients.